YouTube, what's going on? Andrew Darling here. Hey guys, I'm finally going to go ahead and do a quick review of the LG G3. As you guys know, I'm about a week into my full use with the OnePlus One. So I wanted to revisit the phone I used for getting close to a month prior to having the OnePlus One. It was probably about 3 full weeks after release that I was using the LG G3 exclusively. There were some loves, some hates. First, I'm just going to talk about the overall experience, the screen, the display, a couple issues I had. We'll go through the camera UI, and then once we get done with that portion of it, I'll give you guys kind of my thoughts on the battery life, as well as a couple things that they could have done to make it better. Overall, I'm good, and now my phone is ringing. So, here we go. This is just the exterior look of the G3. Obviously, you have the rear-facing buttons, which I've mentioned a couple times. I'm a pretty big fan of. Nice camera. It has the laser autofocus. Of course, you have your LED flash. Buttons on the back. You have your power and your volume rocker up and down. Moving to we'll stop at the sides of the device real quick, as I'm sure you guys already know. There are no buttons on the sides. You do have this spot right down here where you can take the back plate off, which I can do real quick. I think I can do at least. So that exposes your battery. I don't have a SIM card in there or anything right now, as I'm using the OnePlus One as my daily driver. 3,000 milliamp hour battery, of course, and the back cover pops on pretty easily. I did notice that where the where the SIM card tray and the SD card slot, that's very much a Samsung or design language with them together. So as you guys can tell, I'm doing this review kind of just hanging out, laying on the floor. My kids are at grandma's, so I get some extra space to myself. So don't judge me. But back to the G3. So the screen itself is phenomenal. I've never complained about the screen. The only thing I complain about and do not like is the auto brightness setting. It's inconsistent for where it is. I mean, generally I can move it around like this and it'll change. See how it was really dark and now it's not as dark? So I'm putting it on 90% just for this portion of the review. As you guys can tell, I mean, it's very, very vivid. I mean, I'll zoom in as close as I can and see if I can get it focused. I mean, you're not going to have an issue when it comes to screen clarity. That is for sure. So, I mean, look how close that is. That is remarkable, both on the part of the screen of the G3 and on part of the OnePlus One, which is what I'm using to record this portion of the review. So, getting into functions, I'm using Nova Launcher right now, and I like some of the different functions that it has. Yes, I know that's the Google Now, one of the Google Now launcher backgrounds, but I am using Nova Launcher. I just really like that background. So back to more about what the G3 actually has going for it. The screen size, the 5.5-inch screen, and the 4K display, or 2K, depending on what your definition is. Very solid, very, very good screen. The auto brightness, like I said, is pretty terrible. But the screen itself is awesome. The screen size that you get, going from here to here for the device, very solid. You couldn't really ask for a whole lot better. The clarity of the screen, I mean, I think we just showed that in the app itself, or when I zoomed in. Overall build quality, like I said, I'm a big fan of the rear buttons. I like them. I think they're actually pretty useful, and it makes it easier so you don't always have to hit everything with your thumb. The removable back battery is awesome. The SIM card and SD card slot. The weight of the phone, obviously, you can't feel the phone watching a video, but the weight is very, very solid. There's a few things about the phone that I really, really don't like. First, of course, being auto brightness. Second being down here at the bottom, and this is something that I can't really just fault the G3 for, but I can fault really everybody except for AOKP, which those of you that don't know is a custom ROM. In the settings, okay, there's your choice here on the home screen. I'm sorry, it's in the look at that, mid-video, can't even remember how to get somewhere, but it's in here somewhere. It's got an email. Let's see here. It's not on the lock screen. Can't remember where it's at, which is kind of sad actually. But going into just the different things about the device is the navigation buttons themselves. You can move them around, which is good, but you can't put any apps in there. The only other choices that you have are the auto pull down key, which I've used, and then there's like a Q window, which is kind of shortens some of the what the heck are they called? Dun dun dun. Shorten some of the functions. I'm sorry, it'll bring up like a small window, and it does a couple of different things. But either way, it's useful. There are definitely some things on there that are solid. Here we go. Home touch buttons. That's where they are. So going here into the combination. So like up here, you can move the notification tray up here and slide it down. You can put dual window, Q slide, or quick memo. I don't use quick memo, so I've had my device set up like this before, and it works good because of the size of the device. If you're holding it like this, you don't have to reach all the way up to grab the notification tray. Okay? You just go here, press the button, and it's down. So there's an advantage to that, but normally I would take it off and just put that down, but only having 4 buttons there just really kind of messes with the symmetry for me. The home button's supposed to be in the middle. But if you could put like on AOKP, and it's been like this since Ice Cream Sandwich, you can put like the phone app and the messaging app in between here. To me, that makes it ideal. Like I said, I know I'm a picky user, I get it, but that's something I don't like. You give us small options to customize, but you're not giving us the full gambit, the full range. So the camera UI is pretty solid. We'll turn it to the side here, and luckily we're not looking at myself. Okay, so as you guys can tell, and I can actually move the video up a little bit here. Alright, so we can see here, here's a television over here, and the Nintendo Wii, and apparently I just took a photo, but it focuses in rather quickly. Let me see if I can get it to, here we go. Let's focus here, and then we'll take this off, come back, and focus is very quick, very, very fast, and just moving around, taking photos. So you can always go into here, into your mode. You can just put it on auto, magic focus, panorama. We can put it on dual, and we can actually take a look at what I'm doing, as well as, see, hanging out. There's the OnePlus. So it's kind of cool. Let's focus in. There I am. What's going on, guys? Lots of fun. And then we'll go in here, and we'll move back to auto. And there we go. Now in your settings here, you have HDR auto or HDR off. Now when you press to get the size, the 13 megapixels, it's going to give you a choice for your camera as well as your video. So, I mean, you can go all the way down to 3 megapixels if you want. I'll leave it at 13 just because you can go to the UHD, ultra high definition. It's not technically 4K, it's really like 2K. But that's okay. Or you can drop it down to 720p slow motion, which is interesting. I played with it a little bit. I just don't have a whole heck of a lot of use case for it. Up here in the kind of stack overflow button, that's going to bring everything out or push it back, and then you have your flash, which in whatever the heck mode I'm in doesn't seem to want to work, but that's okay. Here you go. You can have grid lines, you can not have grid lines. Here's your timer. So you can put it on 3 seconds. There you go. Simple enough. Coming back over here, now that everything's back on, you can do some voice stuff. You can turn on snap, cheese, so there's a couple pretty cool features you have. What I'll do now is I'm going to turn off the timer so that we can play some more with the voice stuff. So you can say smile, and go up here, take a look at the TV, LG. So, a couple cool things you can do there with the camera. The UI is overall pretty decent. Video recording isn't bad. So what I'll actually do here is turn this around, turn the camera around, so as you guys can tell, and yeah, that's the Ghana flag in the back. My wife's Ghanaian, don't hold it against her. But here is here's a quick recording on this. So we're recording here on the OnePlus and the G3. Nothing too serious. Kind of cool, kind of useful. But that's the camera. Couple other thoughts. I'll give those to you in another video. Not really. It's just in a different type of video, and we'll merge them together. So that's been my overall review of the G3. Just touched on a couple things. Overall, not too bad. The battery life's not as impressive, but we'll go into that in just a second. Talk to you soon. And we're still recording, so we'll talk to you soon. That's the G3. Overall, not terrible. Not great. Pretty decent. Here's my complete thoughts. Okay, so you've already seen my thoughts on just the phone itself. Obviously, I have it here in my hand now. You've seen my thoughts on the G3 itself. You've seen the camera layout, the screen, and kind of a couple of my gripes. Now I want to talk about battery life. So for a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, it doesn't last as long as you would think it would. The G2's battery life was better than the G3. Obviously, upgraded internals, seriously upgraded screen. It's going to cause some difficulties in battery life. That makes perfect sense. Nobody's saying that. I don't know if there was ever really a need to go up as high as they did in screen resolution. There are some stuff that you can use it for on YouTube. There are some videos that you can have to download. But overall, most services are not going to be upgraded or optimized, I believe is the word that I was looking for the 4K experience. So overall, it's a solid phone. It's one of the better phones that you can buy right now. For me, if I had to pick between the G3 and the Galaxy S5, I'd pick the G3. There are some bugs in just everyday operation. Sometimes it'll get caught up, or it'll lag a little bit, or even in like SwiftKey. If you're using SwiftKey and it gets locked up, and you try to press the back button, sometimes it'll double press, and when you're pressing it, sometimes if you hit it, it'll feel like it's holding it down, and it'll bring up your different your multi-window basically. But a lot of times, even when you press it, once it starts to lag, it registers that as a press and hold. It's little things, not terrible. I think LG did a really good job on the build quality of the phone. The camera focuses remarkably fast, although some of the shots are kind of washed out. In that it almost lets in so much light that it doesn't have a way to fix the contrast between some stuff in an image. For example, if you're outside and it's bright out and you take a photo of trees, unless it's really dark in the trees, like back kind of into the woods, there's not a lot of contrast. If it's just a couple trees, it's flooded with light. It's almost as if when you try to take a picture in low light, and then, or if there's one bright source of light, how it washes out that portion, it does wash out. In ideal conditions where, it's regular daytime, it's whatever, the camera does fine. You walk up to the and you hold it steady and you do what you need to do, the camera does fine. I still think the Galaxy S5 camera is better. I like the UI about the same as I do on this as I do the Galaxy S5. Not really a preference when it comes to that. Overall, the G3, like I said, very good device, very solid. I think it was an upgrade to just about everything from the G2, except for the battery life. That was one thing about the G2 that really kind of set it apart from its other flagship competitors, was the battery life. So, I mean, you can still get, don't get me wrong, you can get 4 hours, 4.5, sometimes up to 5 hours screen on time. You're going to have to turn your brightness down, because this phone, when it's bright, it really does suck a lot of power. But, I mean, even if at 50%, okay, I'm putting it right on 50% right now, 49%, and you can see it's still relatively bright. So there's a bunch of, advantages to the phone. Moving the navigation buttons around is an advantage. The disadvantage is if they're going to make it customizable, they could have went further. If you could put apps down here, just 2 apps, you'd be out of this world. That's just my opinion, of course. And obviously you can't do it in Android as a whole, because of so many manufacturers do so many different things with the navigation bar and physical buttons and whatnot. But LG G3, good phone. If you're still on contracts with some of the bigger carriers, pay the money. It's worth it.
If you're smart and you're not on a contract, it's definitely a phone that is worth it. There's also one other cool feature that I want to show you guys real quick. So you have your lock screen, you have tap to unlock. There's also a kids mode that you can get to. So if I do my code, which is here, 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 okay, that opens it up, that unlocks it. All right. But what I've done with my son, because I don't need him getting into the phone and calling people, because he does. He'll call family. He's 3 years old. He'll call family. Okay. So what you do is you just come over here and you tap. I had it set for 5 times, and then he can come in here and he gets just the games. So he gets the games he can play and movies. So I bought Frozen. I didn't think to put it on the family Gmail account. I put it on mine. So that's how he watches it. And no, I don't want to build a snowman. But G3, very solid phone. I would recommend it. I like the build quality. It's super light. The buttons on the back, I'm a big fan of that. The camera is sufficient, but it doesn't stand out to me. It could be better. We'll just put it like that. I'm a very, very picky consumer, but if you're spending your hard-earned money on something, be a picky consumer. Overall, pretty impressed with. Auto brightness really does put a damper on this phone, and you don't appreciate how serious of a feature it is until it doesn't work the way that you think it should. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe below. If you want to share the video with your friends on Facebook or Google Plus or Twitter, or if you want to put a link on Instagram, whatever you want to do. If you want to share this stuff, if you got friends that are thinking about the G2, or I'm sorry, G3, 3, not 2, 3, let them know, show them this video, let them have an opportunity. There's also, I'm sure, some really good other videos out there by other individuals regarding the G3. I know Marquise Brownlee did one, MKBHD. If you're subscribed to my channel and you're not subscribed to MKBHD, you're missing out, because I don't do what he does. He's on it. He is awesome. He does a lot better editing than I do. I don't do a whole lot of editing. But YouTube, thank you so much. This has been my full review of the LG G3. I got the T-Mobile variant. I don't think I mentioned that. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, whatever. And I'm sure I will absolutely talk to you soon. Take care, guys.